two instruments here. This is CRO or cathode ray oscilloscope, and this is function generator. And in CRO we have so many switches. Now we'll learn some of the basic switch here. First thing is this CRO has two channels, channel 1 and channel 2. This is channel 1 and channel 2. To change from channel 1 to channel 2, we have to use this switch. If you leave it like this, it is showing channel 1, and if you press this one, it will show you channel 2. This is channel 2 and this one is channel 1. As you can see here, in channel we have some sine signal. This is the sine signal we are giving to channel 1 with a frequency of 1K, and if I press this one, now if I press this, it will change to channel 2. This is the function generator that we are giving some signal from here to channel 2, and the frequency of this one is 10 kHz. Sine signal 10 kHz, sine signal 10 kHz. Now this is for changing channel 1 and channel 2. Now if you want to see both signal, you have to use this dual. This dual switch will show you both signal from channel 1 and channel 2. This signal is from channel 1 and this signal is from channel 2. Now as you can see here, you can see that the signal from channel 2 is weaving. So if you want to make this one stable, you have to use this alt button. This is a trigger button, alt. If you press this one, it will make the signal stable. So this is a sine signal with a frequency of 1, and this is your sine signal with a frequency of 10K. This is from channel 2 and this is from channel 1. Okay. Now this is channel 1 signal, this is sine signal. Now we'll check the amplitude of this signal, sine signal. So as you can see here, this is your blue indicator, blue line. If this blue line is pointed to any value here, it means that one box will be that voltage. As you can see here, this one is pointed to 1 volt. So one box of this one, it is 1 volt, and you can see that in this one box there are 5 small division. There are 5 small divisions. So each will be, if it is one box, it is 1 volt. So each division will be 0.2 volt. So if you want to measure the peak to peak of this signal, okay, now from this point to this point is peak to peak. So peak to peak voltage of this one is, from this point to this point is 1 volt. One box is 1 volt, and it's taking 2 small division. So approximately will be around 1.4 volt. So the peak to peak voltage of this is 1.4 volt. This is your voltage per division switch. Now for checking, this is for checking the amplitude of signal. This is for checking the amplitude of signal. Now if you want to change if you want to measure the frequency of the signal, either you can use by checking here, this is 1K, or by measuring with time division. So how to check with time division? As you can see here, this signal, suppose if the signal started from this point to this point, it is 1 cycle. 1 cycle of signal is taking 2 box. So 2 box. So 1 box will be around 0.5 millisecond. So total will be, 2 box, total will be 1 millisecond. If 1 millisecond converted to frequency, it will be around 1K. So you can see it is same. It's showing here 1 kilohertz, and if you measure by this also, it will show you 1 kilohertz. Now for the switch. This switch here, this is ground. Ground is 0 DC. So you can make your ground any point. Suppose I'm making this one, this line will be your ground, this line will be your ground. You can make any point. So this is your ground, 0 volt. This is your ground button. Here also it's same for channel 2, ground button. And this is your AC or DC switch. As you can see here, this signal is riding on 0 volt. So if you press DC, press ground here, if you press DC, nothing's changed. It will show you same thing because it is riding on your 0 volt. This button here, it is the invert button. Invert button, what will do is it will flip your signal 180 degree. Okay, the signal is flipping 180 degree. It is same for channel 2 also. Now we'll study the basic switch of this function generator. This function generator will generate signal. Like here, as you can see, it is generating. This one is giving a sine signal with a frequency of 1 kHz. Now this button here function, if you press this button, it will change this signal to triangular. As you can see here, it's giving, now it's giving triangular wave with a frequency of 1 kHz. And if you press again, now this one is changing to, you press square wave. This square wave with a frequency of 1 kHz, and this is a DC signal. So this one is, this function button is for changing the mode of your signal. This sine, triangular, square, DC. Now here, as you can see here, the sine signal is giving 1 kHz. It's showing 1 kHz frequency. If you want to change the frequency here, you have to use this knob. This knob is for increasing or decreasing the frequency of your signal. So this is frequency of 1 kHz. Now if you move to the right, is, see, now this 2K, 2 kHz. It's changing to 2K. And if you move to the left, see, now it is only 277 Hz. This is for changing the frequency of the signal. Now in this one you will have two buttons. There are two buttons here. This button here is for changing the signal. This button here is for changing the signal 10 times. Here it is showing 1K, but if you press this one, it's showing 10K. So 10 times. It will increase 10 times of your original signal. And if you press again, see, 10 times. From 10K to 100. Now if 10 times of 100 will be 1 mega. And this one is for decreasing, same thing, decreasing the frequency of the signal 10 times. From 1 mega, if you press this one, it will change to 100K, from 100K to 10K, 10K to 1K. These two buttons. And amplitude. Now, as you can see here, this is your sine signal with amplitude of 1.4. This is approximately 1.4 volt. As you can see, this is this indicator is pointed to 1 volt. So one box is 1 volt, and it's taking extra 2 division. So 2 division will be 0.4. So the total will be 1.4 volt peak to peak. So if you want to increase or decrease the amplitude of this signal, you can use this knob. If you move to the right, it will increase your amplitude, and if you move to the left, it will decrease. Now, as you can see here, this is at minimum. At minimum voltage, your amplitude is around 1.4. So at minimum, it is 1.4. So if you want to decrease the amplitude of this one beyond 1.4 volt, you have to use these two switch. These two switch are called attenuator. This attenuator, it will decrease the amplitude of this signal 10 times. Here, as you can see, it is around 1.4 volt. Now if you press this, it will change to 140 millivolt. So 10 times. There are two buttons here. If you press again, the second button will again decrease 10 times of your original signal. So it will be around 14 millivolt. This is at 10, so 14 millivolt.